Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another one of our 7-star raid building videos. This episode, we're talking about the next 7-star raid that was just recently announced, that being Iron Bundle. Iron Bundle is normally an ice and a water type, and it's going to have the Terra type of ice. It is going to be, of course, a 7-star raid, so it's going to be incredibly difficult, and for a limited time, December 22nd through 24th, so just a few days there. So definitely make sure to get this Pokemon when it's in raids, or you might have a little bit more trouble getting access to it. Of course, if you are a Scarlet player, this is a great opportunity to get access to a normally Violet exclusive Pokemon. If you are a Violet player, then you get one with the Unrivaled mark, which is pretty cool too. Cork Drive is Iron Bundle's only known ability, so definitely expect it. That is the only thing it could potentially run, and gives it a nice boost to its highest stat when on Electric Train or holding a booster energy, which I have, as you can see there, it holding just in case. I honestly, truthfully believe it probably will be holding a booster energy, just give it that little bit of extra boost. Iron Bundle hits very hard on the special side, and that booster energy will likely boost that. So be prepared for that. A lot of the builds keep that in mind, so don't worry too much about that. I've done a little bit of the worrying for you, but definitely if you're building your own Pokemon, keep that in mind. Of course, Iron Bundle does have a very low defense. Is it? It's special defense, excuse me. A very low special defense in regards to its defensive stats. Its defense is almost double, I think, if not more. So you definitely want to hit it specially. And again, all of our sets keep that in mind. Iron Bundle, of course, is known for its three big moves: Hydro Pump, Blizzard, and Freeze Dry. Hydro Pump being a water type move, Blizzard being an ice type move, and Freeze Dry also being an ice type move. It is actually capable of hitting water type super effective. All our sets are built around the Iron Bundle having these main damage dealing moves, as well as that next move you'll see there, Snowscape, which increases its Blizzard accuracy to 100%. It never will miss. It'll bypass all accuracy checks. So keep that in mind if snow is up. That also lets it set up that next move on the board there, Aurora Veil. If Aurora Veil is up, Iron Bundle will take a lot less damage from both physical and special moves, but it can only use Aurora Veil if it is already currently snowing. So a lot of these sets are built around making sure that it's not snowing and it can't set up that Aurora Veil. It can't hit those blizzards 100% of the time. It could also run Electric Terrain in case it's not holding the booster energy to get that Cork Drive boost, so be ready for that. Booster Energy and Cork Drive also pair very well with Acrobatics, which is a flying type move that gets a nice boost in power if the held item is already used. So I could definitely see it using this, despite the fact that Iron Bundle has a very, very low attack stat, especially compared to its special stats. Player Up is also a pretty good move for its coverage, as well as Drill Peck, but if it's going to have a flying move, I'd probably say Acrobatics. Present is a very thematic move that it might be running just for, the little laughs, and then Chilling Water, of course, being a very common raid move we've seen before, normally using as the raid boss to lower the attack stat of the Pokemon. We don't have to worry about Chilling Water because all of our sets today are actually specially offensive, so I kept that special defense, like low stat in mind building for this. Of course, being a pure ice type Pokemon after Terrestrialization, this Iron Bundle will be weak to the Fighting, Fire, Steel, and Rock types. Again, this Pokemon will be in raids from December 22nd to 24th, and with that being said, let's get right over to our sets. Our first one here, a very well-known special defensive powerhouse, is Blissey. Blissey is the normal type, we're going to give it the Terra type of Steel and give it the held item of the Shellbell. This Blissey is going to be a calm nature, as you can see, minus attack up special defense with the ability Healer. None of Blissey's abilities really have much impact on how it does in these raids. Healer is the only one with any sort of effect, so we thought to throw it on Blissey just because. When it comes to moves, Blissey is going to have Light Screen to give your team a nice defensive boost there. Life Dew to give everyone a quarter of their health back, which is a very, very nice move to have on a defensive Pokemon that probably won't be dying anyway. Helping Hand to give your teammates a boost, and then Terra Blast for that Terra Steel stab option. Of course, Helping Hand is how you're going to be doing most of your damage. Blissey's attack stat, or special attack stat, I should say, is very, very low, especially compared to the other Pokemon with it. But if it comes down to it, we've actually spec'd this Blissey to have max special attack and max special defense. Max HP really didn't change Blissey much because of how much of a tank it is. It makes it live a few more hits, but realistically, you should be fine with Blissey, especially pressing that Life Dew or pressing those cheering buttons. This Blissey is mainly a support option. You don't really want to be relying on this for your damage, but that Terra Blast and special attack is there in case you absolutely need to. But for the most part, you're going to be pressing that light screen if it's not currently up. You're going to be pressing that Life Dew to heal your full team, as well as pressing that Heal Cheer, that Attack Cheer to make some more damage happen, as well as that Helping Hand. Helping Hand, of course, making your teammates do a lot more damage. So if you're doing fine on health, if everyone's doing fine on health, press an Attack Cheer, press a Helping Hand, and start really dealing the damage. And if it comes down to it, Blissey can Terrasilize and press that Terra Blast button to do a little bit of damage. So it's a pretty good Pokemon all around, is probably the one I'm going to be using most consistently. Moving on to our next Pokemon, though, another pretty defensive Pokemon, Lapras here with a Water and Ice type. We're going to give it the Terra type of Fire and give it the held item Shellbell. Now, you might be asking why it's Terra Fire when Iron Bundle can hit the Fire type for super effective damage, and we'll see that over here. Lapras's main ability is Water Absorb. Water Absorb means this Pokemon cannot be hit by water moves as long as Iron Bundle hasn't cleared the abilities. If it has, and your Lapras goes down, or your Lapras trash slices, you might have a little bit of trouble, but once it comes back, you should be fine. So just maybe be a bit careful tearing there. Definitely make sure you play that at the right time. You're going to want to put a bunch of points in special attack, not quite maxed out. If you give me just a sec, I can pull up the exact numbers. But the moveset, you're going to want to run Muddy Water, Helping Hand, Terra Blast, and Life Dew. Muddy Water is a pretty good water type move. Lapras can deal a little bit of damage with it, but of course, you're really here for the accuracy drop that comes to Muddy Water. Assuming that, what's it called? Snow is not up. Your Blizzards will not be 100% accurate coming off that Iron Bundle. So you can definitely lower that with Muddy Water. And of course, that does just help with Hydro Pump too. Helping Hand, of course, if you realize your teammate needs a little bit of extra damage boost and is doing more damage than you would otherwise, definitely press that button. Terra Blast, of course, if you can get that Terra off without going down, you can definitely start dealing some stab fire damage, will be nice. And then Life Dew for the same reason that Blissey has it, to heal your team if necessary. Let's go back to stats. I have them pulled up here. You're going to want to put 56 points in HP, 200 into special attack, and 252 into special defense. I mean, it seemed like weird numbers, but we've calculated these so that they have the best opportunity to make sure Lapras does very well in this battle. This Lapras is actually going to be a modest nature. And with all of these Pokemon, I should mention, the only IVs you care about are everything except attack. Your attack stat does not matter, but everything else should be best for your best performance. So keep that in mind. But moving on to our next Pokemon here, we've got Hisui and Gudra, a bit of a fun one. I think we've seen this in raids like once before, maybe. Steel Dragon, and you're going to want to run Terra-type Steel, so it's a natural Terra-type there, very nice. You're going to run Shell Bell on this. You're going to want to run Shell Bell on the last two. I don't know if I mentioned that before. Of course, that way you can heal a little bit while you're dealing some damage. You're going to want to put, I believe, 252 points into HP, yep, and then 156 in special attack and 100 in special defense. That'll give this Pokemon a nice bit of bulk as well as allow it to deal some good damage. When it comes to moves, you're going to run Flash Cannon is its main damage dealing move. Of course, that hits the Ice type super effective and gets Stab, and Terra Stab when you Terrasilize. You got Acid Spray, which of course we've seen plenty of times before, being a move that not only does damage to charge your Terra Orb, but also lowers the opponent's special defense, which will be very nice since we're hitting this thing specially anyway. Sunny Day is a bit of an interesting move there. It doesn't boost anything that Gudra or any of these other Pokemon really do, except maybe Lapras, but it actually just removes the snow and weakens Hydro Pump. So Sunny Day is a pretty good support option. You'll see down a few more Pokemon that we built here today. And then Skitter Smack is another pretty good move. If you've noticed that the special defense stat is already pretty low, you can press Skitter Smack and it's actually a damage dealing move that lowers the opponent's special attack. So it's kind of like chilling water in that sense, where you charge your Terra Orb, but are also stopping it from dealing as much damage. Shell Armor is its main ability. None of the other abilities would really help here, so Shell Armor protecting you from crits might be a nice little bonus, although that probably won't come into play much. With this Pokemon, you're going to want to do a Calm Nature to make sure it can live a few extra hits from that Iron Bundle. Moving on to the next set, we have another fun Pokemon, Galarian Slowking, which is now easily accessible in the Indigo Disc DLC. Poison Psychic is its main type, as well as Terra-type Steel. You'll see that a few times here, and it's going to be holding that Shell Bell, just like its friends. When it comes to stats, you're going to want to max out its HP, put 252 points into that. You're then going to want to put 132 in special attack and 124 in special defense. There's going to be a Calm Slowking with Own Tempo as its ability. That's very important. One of its other abilities, I believe it's called Curious Medicine, actually would hurt your team if you have it on it. So I definitely would recommend running Own Tempo, and Regenerator is useless in raids. So Own Tempo is probably your best option. Even though it doesn't do anything, it also really doesn't hurt. I guess Regenerator doesn't either, but whatever. When it comes to moves, Acid Spray is going to be a very big priority, of course, lowering the special defense of the Iron Bundle so your team can do more damage. Light Screen so you can take a few extra hits. Terra Blast is your main damage dealing option. Once you can Terrasilize and start firing off Terra Steel, Terra Blast, it'll be doing a lot of damage. And then Slag Off being an excellent healing move on this Pokemon. Again, this is going to be a Calm Slowking. Slowking is a very specially defensive and specially offensive Pokemon, so he was kind of like built for this raid. The typing might seem a little weird, so it might have a little trouble staying up without proper support. But if you can get this thing on the field and set up, you should totally be fine in a wreck house with this thing. It's a very fun Pokemon to use in this raid. Excuse the voice crack there. Next, we got Dialga. Dialga is a Steel and Dragon type Pokemon. You're going to run Terra Steel on it, and of course, since we want the origin form of Dialga, it needs to be holding the Adamant Crystal, which not only changes it into this form and gives it a little more special bulk, but also makes its Steel type moves do quite a bit more damage, which is very nice. Especially once we get over to its actual moves. Flash Cannon is its main stab option, and you're going to see Ancient Power there, which might seem a little weird at first, until you remember Ancient Power has a small chance of Omni boosting the Pokemon. If you charge your Terra Orb with this move, you'll have a chance of getting there with some extra boosted stats, so your Flash Cannons will do more damage. Sunny Day, of course, being on this Pokemon to get rid of the snow, just as we described before with a few other Pokemon, and Metal Sound to lower special defense. Although it's good to note that Metal Sound does not work if the Pokemon is behind a Terra Shield. So until if it's not at the start, you can use Metal Sound a few times, or once you've knocked out the Terra Shield, you can use Metal Sound so that your team can kind of snowball damage. You're gonna want this Pokemon to have pressure, although realistically, its ability doesn't matter too much. Pressure might make it so you're taking less Hydro Pumps as the game goes on, but really, who knows? With Dialga, you're going to put 252 points in HP, 108 points in a special attack, and 148 in a special defense. This will give Dialga a good amount of staying power, as well as letting it do a bunch of damage to the Iron Bundle. This, of course, is going to be a calm Dialga, as you can see there, and everything matters except attack, as with all of these Pokemon. Moving on to our next Pokemon, we have a definitely interesting one. This is our last build, so hopefully you see something you like out of all of them. This is Kyurem White, definitely a cool Pokemon. It's the Dragon Ice type, and you're going to run Terra Steel on it, holding the Shell Bell. When we go to its stats, you're going to see you're going to want to max out HP, and then pull up the numbers, put 88 points in special attack and 168 points into special defense. This is a perfect amount of bulk for this Pokemon. When it comes to moves, you're going to run Fusion Flare as its main damage dealing option. Ancient Power for the same reason as Dialga, maybe get up there with a few extra bonus points in your stats, and then Sunny Day to get rid of snow and weaken that Hydro Pump. You definitely want to use some power point ups on its moves here. I haven't quite yet, but definitely remember to do that. Turbo Blaze is this Pokemon's only ability, and of course Light Screen is a great option. If you're running a team, you need to have Light Screen on it at some point, other this Iron Bundle is going to clean house. So definitely keep that in mind. This is a calm White Kyurem. And with that, that is all of our builds today. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. This one's a little rushed. I had built all these sets and kind of had to rebuild them when it was pointed out to me that these Pokemon can't use status moves if they have an Assault Vest. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.